There's no better bet than a Sportingbet.
Hello and welcome to Chasing the Dollar, brought to you by Sportingbet. We're going to have a look at the Sydney Cup final at Wentworth Park this Saturday night, as well as all of the quaddie legs. And to go through the form with us is Adam Pengilly. Adam, a very nice race as always, the Sydney Cup.
Yeah, hello Ben, hello everyone. Yeah, it looks like a fantastic race on Saturday night, the Sydney Cup. Got a fairly good lineup. I think it's probably a good bet in the race as well, and a couple other handy races in the quaddie legs. So we'll try and find a few winners for the punters out there.
Yeah, certainly one that Adam does like, and we've got the fixed odds market through Sportingbet as well to have a look at for the Sydney Cup. That comes up a little bit later on, but let's get into the first leg of the quaddie, and here is the field for this race. It is race number 5 over the 520 metres. Electro Storm has been very, very kind to you, Adam. The last couple of tips, you've got 2 out of 2 with it. Going again?
Yeah, he's been carrying our Chasing the Dollar cash the last couple of weeks, Ben, but I'm going to go against him here on Saturday night. I'm going to go with number 5, Go Home Bro. So Greyhound's been one of the big improvers in New South Wales greyhound racing of late. They keep setting the bar a little bit higher and just keeps jumping it with a couple of very good wins in free-for-all grade. He's back down in grade here. Having said that, it still is a tough race with plenty of chances, but I think he's going to get his chance from box 5 here. Stussicino is inside, is not the fastest beginner. Shanghai Rose is on his outside, tends to track a little bit right at box rise. I think he's going to get his opportunity to speed towards the lead here, and it's pretty good bet on Saturday night. So number 5, Go Home Bro, is my top pick. I've included number 1, Mr. KENMOR, for second. You can make a case to say that he's the best box greyhound at Wentworth Park on Saturday night. Drawn underneath Corborn Havoc, who will track wide at the first turn, so he'll get his chance as well. Like I mentioned before, number 3, Electro Storm, goes in for third. He's been absolutely flying of late. I'm just a little bit worried about the draw. If Corborn Havoc happens to step off at the first turn, he's a little bit tardy away, Electro Storm. It could be all types of trouble for him. And number 8, Scouts Gold, is boxed pretty well out in the 8 as well. So my numbers are 5, 1, 3 and 8.
Well, race number 6 on the program at Wentworth Park is the Sportingbet Stayers Stakes, and this is the way the field looks over the 720 there at Wenty. Where are you going?
Now, number 2 suits us, Ben. Not an overly strong race. I was pretty taken with his run in the heat of the Sydney Cup last week when he drew wide, wasn't on the track for 3/4 of the race. To finish as close as he did to Infinite Wish and Greatness and not too far off Smart Valentino, I thought was a huge effort. He's also always been a greyhound that's shown a little bit of ability at the staying trip without really stamping himself as a genuine 720 metre dog. This is probably the weakest race he's found for a long time. If he can posse up from a nice draw, track the speed into the first turn, he should be too strong late, so it suits us as our top pick. Number 5, Honey Chickens, are likely leading the race. Led a small field of Merry Dance last week out in front. Didn't run the time I thought he might have been possible of doing, but he's definitely a winning chance in this race as well. Number 1, 7 Straight, goes in for third. Will be improved from his first look at Wenty a few starts ago. And Little Red will be in the first couple charging towards the first turn, but really keen on number 2, Suits Us, with number 5, Honey Chicken, the only danger.
Let's get along to race 7 on the program. This is the third leg of the quaddie. And Adam, you think you've found us some value here? What is it?
Yeah, going for a pretty rough result here, Benny. Number 5, Little Rum. She needs a lot of favours to go close in her races, but I can definitely make a case for here on Saturday night. She's got no early speed, but working in her favour, there's probably not a whole lot of early speed drawn across the track in this race. If she can get a nice card into the race on the back of Premier MOZZ, she doesn't slip the clean, she steps just a tiny little bit more cleaner. She get a nice tag into the race from Premier MOZZ. Shouldn't be any pressure from Asha Tenga on the outside. She'll be doing her best work late in the last 50 metres. She wasn't too bad behind Boris Fields last week. You put Boris Fields in this race, he's probably a pretty short price favourite. At the price, I think Little Rum's definitely worth backing on an each-way basis. Number 4, Premier MOZZ, goes in for second. She's been fantastically placed by Chrissy Sultana of late, rising through the grades. Has plenty of early speed, drawn to charge down the middle of the track and will go close. I've included number 7, Double Trigger, for third. Couldn't quite reel in Mexico City last week and should again be able to stalk the early speed from the other side of the track this time. And number 3, Woods, pace to forget, he went round last week, but I'm pretty keen on number 5, Little Rum, at a big price.
And that takes us to the feature race of the evening. Race number 8, it is the Sydney Cup, worth $25,000 to the winner. Some of the best stayers in Australia going around here. Let's have a look at the market through Sportingbet. And Adam, Smart Valentino, after the disaster of last week, gets out to a backable price.
Yeah, definitely gets out to a backable price, Ben, at $2.70. I think that's fantastic value, to tell you the truth. If he won his heat last week, it'd be a lot shorter price. I think $2.70 is very backable. And the other greyhound in the race I think is over the odds is Lucy Wise at $9. I think you can definitely back her on an each-way basis. She was pretty good to the line last week. She just steps that little bit cleaner. I reckon she's a huge hope at an each-way price.
And of course, especially if you do bet through Sportingbet, they are offering best tote plus 5% on all Australian greyhound group races. So Sportingbet, the place to do your greyhound betting, that is for sure. Now take us through your tips for the big one.
Go on number 1, Smart Valentino, Ben. Like I mentioned before, $2.70 is a fantastic price. Quite simply, if he swapped his run with Greatness last week, he wins that race. He ran to the back of that greyhound quite badly, going into the back straight on the second lap. I think from box one here, he should be able to posse up nice and close and be too strong late. Let's not forget he almost broke the track record at Wentworth Park, albeit in a pretty small field from box one. And his national distance championship win came from box one as well. I think he's a fantastic bet at $2.70. Load up and just keep putting on, I reckon. So he's going to be my top pick. Number 2, Set Sail South goes in for second. The Obvious Danger was fantastic having its first look at Wentworth Park last week. Should be able to park handy from box 2 and has claims as well. Number 3, Lucy Wise, like I mentioned earlier, if she steps just that little bit more cleaner, she's a huge hope at $9. I expect her to be in the finish, definitely backable each way. And number 7, Infinite Wish, take nothing away from her. She was fantastic last week. I just think her task is going to be a little bit harder from out wider on the track on Saturday night. So my betting strategy will be back number 1, Smart Valentino, and have a little saver on number 3, Lucy Wise, at an each way price.
Yeah, it's a very nice night of racing on Saturday night at Wentworth Park. What is the best bet on the program for
Going
you?
in the feature race, Ben, race 8, number 1, Smart Valentino. Don't jump off him because he got beat last week. I think he's a huge price on Saturday night. I will load up and keep putting on.
Yeah, 270 looks very, very handy. What about something at some value?
The race beforehand, race 7, number 5, Little Rum. For the reasons mentioned earlier, she hasn't got much early speed. If you can just track up somewhere towards the lead near the first turn and be strong late, I think she's a huge hope at a big price.
Okay, take us through the quaddie.
Let's get this quaddie this week, Ben. Go for the first leg, Go Home Bro, Mr. KENMOR and Electro Storm. In the second leg, I reckon the only 2 real chances are Suits Us and Honey Chicken. In the third leg, we'll include Little Rum, Premier MOZZ and Double Trigger. And if we're alive in the last leg, we're going to hope for some value and just include Set Sail South and Lucy Wise to back up Smart Valentino.
Okay, looks like a very nice Sydney Cup this year. You're all about Smart Valentino, aren't you?
I am, Ben, really keen on Smart Valentino. Should be a good race, but I reckon he'll be winning.
Yep, most certainly. We'll see you next time on Chasing the Dollar.
There's no better bet than a sporting bet.